Welcome back to our channel, the place where hidden chapters, royal secrets, and the stories the palace won't publish finally come to light. Today we bring you a breaking news. Meghan's Soho house escort secrets out. Harry can't unsee this. A reassessment of the events leading to the marriage of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has escalated in public discourse, focusing on a network of relationships and circumstances that challenge the dominant narrative of a serendipitous romance. This alternate perspective does not merely provide a different Genesis narrative for the connection. Instead, it constructs a sequential argument that interprets those origins as the result of a deliberate social strategy. At its core is the exclusive international network known as Soho House and its long-standing consultant, Marcus Anderson. The alternative narrative assembles photographic evidence, financial inquiries, social network analysis, and purported private alerts from within the royal family to formulate a cohesive hypothesis that the entry and eventual rise of Meghan Markle into Prince Harry's sphere were orchestrated incrementally by individuals functioning within elite social circles. The re-evaluation favors the period just before the couple's first publicly recognized encounter in 2016. Proponents of this reinterpretation commence not with dramatic assertions, but with an ostensibly ordinary visual artifact, an image of Meghan Markle on a yacht in Croatia. The photograph ostensibly depicts a private getaway. However, advocates emphasize a modest yet notable detail: a navy blue canvas bag featuring the Soho House logo as a focal point for a more extensive investigation. This accessory is perceived by investigators as more than a mere fashion statement. It is regarded as a symbol of affiliation within a specific social structure. The appearance of the bag aboard a luxurious yacht elevates the scene from a mere exhibition of affluence to one that signifies involvement in a curated global social network. The inference is that the gathering was not simply a collection of wealthy visitors, but a congregation of individuals who were part of and regularly interacted within the Soho House ecosystem, a milieu where Meghan Markle had a prominent and enduring presence. This remark prompted a detailed examination of the connections among Soho House, Meghan Markle, and Marcus Anderson. Marcus Anderson is widely acknowledged as a close associate of Meghan Markle. He is frequently depicted in images with her at various events and is characterized in media reports and social circles as one of her trusted confidants. His professional trajectory, as outlined in public records, delineates a career that commenced in a service capacity as a waiter in London and advanced into strategic roles inside Soho House. He is recognized for his pivotal role in the brand's North American expansion, notably the inauguration of the Toronto House in 2012. And is acknowledged in official sources as a global consultant for the company. In the alternative narrative, Anderson's role is redefined. He is not simply a friend and employee, but a crucial agent, purportedly utilizing his institutional influence to mentor position and facilitate introductions for specific individuals within Soho House's membership. It is crucial to elucidate the significance of Soho House and the implications of its engagement in the argument. Established in 1995 by Nick Jones and situated in London's Soho neighborhood, Soho House was conceived as a private members' club intended to serve as a sanctuary for those in creative fields. Its philosophy differed from that of conventional gentlemen's clubs, which generally exalt ancestry patronage and historical prominence. Soho House fostered an image of modern exclusivity centered on the concept of creative soul, a term that delineates standards favoring cultural capital, professional ingenuity, and social prestige over simple affluence. The brand evolved from humble origins into a worldwide network of houses located in prominent cultural centers such as New York, Berlin, Toronto, Istanbul, and Los Angeles. Each house provides a collection of amenities, restaurants, bars, screening rooms, offices, gyms, and hotel accommodations intended to function as both private social environments and hubs for professional networking. Soho House implements a confidential code of behavior that encompasses a stringent no photography policy and prioritizes privacy. This deliberate concealment renders the houses appealing to A-list celebrities, artists, technology entrepreneurs, and media executives who desire to engage socially and conduct transactions away from extensive public scrutiny. Membership is exclusive and expensive. Annual fees differ based on location and access level. Membership serves as a gateway to a meticulously managed worldwide network of influence, surpassing just access to physical locations. In this context, reputational signals and introductions serve as currency. Relationships established in a club lounge have at times resulted in career-defining chances and enabled significant business transactions. Against this backdrop, an institution that overtly promotes itself as both a refuge and a conduit to cultural and commercial capital, Meghan Markle's pattern of presence and association is examined in the alternative narrative. The reinterpretation fundamentally involves a reconceptualization of Marcus Anderson's association with Meghan Markle. The public record depicts Anderson as a long-standing associate and a professional whose career progressed within Soho House, ultimately leading to a consultant position that involved considerable responsibility for the brand's growth and curation. The alternative perspective does not contest the public record, but applies an interpretive framework. Anderson is seen as a strategist and gatekeeper who effectively operated an informal finishing school for ambitious individuals, mainly women pursuing social advancement. It is essential to elucidate the meaning of finishing school in this context. The phrase does not refer to a formal institution with a curriculum and fees. Instead, it signifies an informal, socialized process of mentorship and image cultivation. This approach, as asserted by advocates, included instruction on attire and grooming, advice on social behavior and conversational abilities, and deliberate positioning at events to maximize impact and opportunity. The proposed operation largely depended on access. Advocates contend that Anderson's institutional position provided him with insights into guest lists for private gatherings, awareness of members' travel habits, and an understanding of the social dynamics within the houses. He could in theory discern which events would draw particular significant individuals and which social environments were most conducive to introductions. In this narrative, Anderson did not simply participate in gatherings, he orchestrated a network of interactions aligning selected protégés with prospective benefactors or collaborators. The primary accusation is that he exploited his privileged position to create opportunities, arranged interactions that enhanced the likelihood of beneficial contacts with individuals who could further a protégé's professional, social, or romantic prospects. Meghan Markle is depicted in this research as a significant actor in and recipient of such a system. Proponents of this argument highlight her social ascent from around 2011 to 2016 as markedly pronounced in relation to her career situation throughout that period. Within this 5-year period, she transitioned from a recurrent part on the cable television series Suits to being a prominent figure in international elite social circles. She was captured in photographs at events, vacationed in affluent destinations, and attended exclusive residences and galas engagements that, according to certain observers, surpassed what would typically be anticipated based solely on her acting remuneration. Photographs from this period serve as proof of a trend. Anderson frequently appears at the same events as Markle, perhaps subtly situated in the background. Advocates saw this repetition as a sign of coordination. Anderson is not simply a companion, but a facilitator and orchestrator who strategically placed Markle at gatherings to encounter powerful figures. An additional aspect of the alternative framework examines the financial logistics supporting Markle's lifestyle prior to her royal years. The idea examines how an actress earning the income commensurate with her character on Suits can afford the expenses of frequent international travel, luxury clothes, upscale accommodations, and membership in an exclusive private club with many houses. It conducts by design a conjectural accounting analysis. Advocates compile classifications of standard expenses linked to high-frequency elite socializing and propose conservative valuations for each classification. The categories encompass regular international flights among Toronto, New York, Los Angeles, London, and other capitals, a designer wardrobe adequate for sustaining a high-profile public persona at galas and parties, accommodations in five-star hotels, and involvement in exclusive events like yacht festivals in Europe, and the expenses associated with maintaining memberships in various cities, along with supplementary expenditures on dining and events within club facilities. Proponents of the hypothesis contend that when combined, these costs might potentially attain or surpass $70,000 annually, an estimate clearly stated in the original account. To elucidate the figure without asserting further proprietary insight, it can be deconstructed as a hypothetical composite international airfare for multiple transatlantic round trips, even when acquired in advance, may total several $1,000s annually. A rotation of designer attire for red carpet events and social functions can contribute tens of thousands more when factoring in couture acquisitions tailoring. And stylist fees. Opulent hotel accommodations and participation in exclusive events inherently escalate travel expenditures. And the aggregate expenses of Soho House memberships, dining, private event tickets, and local transportation can be substantial. When taxes, agent commissions, and personal expenses are deducted from an actress's gross pay, the remaining disposable income to support such a lifestyle is, according to advocates, significantly limited. From this viewpoint, the hypothesis posits that some type of subsidy or sponsorship serves as a credible explanation for the maintenance of prolonged prominence in elite circles. The most precise accusation about financial assistance is to Meghan Markle's membership at Soho House. The argument posits that her membership was complimentary for a duration of up to 5 years. In commercial parlance, comping denotes the practice whereby a business relinquishes the customary charge for a product or service frequently as an incentive or recognition of preferential position. In hospitality and membership contexts, complimentary memberships may be granted for promotional purposes to key clients or as part of corporate agreements. The hypothesis suggests that Markle's affiliation was encompassed by this arrangement and that the sponsorship was enabled through Marcus Anderson's influence. An employee with adequate power may authorize memberships for designated individuals via corporate accounts or internal approvals without publicly revealing the identity of the specific sponsor. Accepting this premise as realistic provides a potential technique to bridge the seeming disparity between reported income and ostentatious consumption. The alternative narrative positions such sponsorship not as mere generosity, but as a strategic investment an individual within the Soho House network, identified by advocates as Anderson or his associates, allocated resources to Markle due to her capacity to convert social visibility into enhanced cultural capital. In this framework, the financial advantage serves as a catalyst for a strategy-consistent engagement in houses and associated events, enhances the probability of interactions with prominent individuals, media visibility, and an elevated public persona. Consequently, comped membership is depicted as a tactical distribution of resources designed to expedite and maintain social advancement. The re-evaluation encompasses not just the period preceding the courtship, but also the marriage ceremony itself. Proponents reinterpret the 2018 royal wedding as the culmination of a long-term endeavor rather than the conclusion of a naturally evolving romance. Significant focus has been directed towards the composition of the guest list, particularly the 200 individuals selected by Meghan Markle. The conventional wedding guest list often includes family, long-term friends, and professional associates. However, the idea posits that Markle's list was disproportionately comprised of persons with direct connections to Soho House. Analysts assert that more than 60 of her invited guests, approximately one-third of her group, had established affiliations with the club. Individuals exemplifying this trend include Marcus Anderson, reportedly positioned prominently in the front row at the ceremony. Misha Nonu, the fashion designer, publicly acknowledged for orchestrating the blind date between Harry and Meghan, and a recognized member of Soho House. Jessica Mulroney, a Canadian stylist and socialite frequently linked to the houses. And Serena Williams, a distinguished athlete and member of the club community. The inference derived from these data is that the guest list served as a convergence of the network that had enabled Markle's ascent. Advocates highlight the scarcity of enduring childhood friends and extended family aside from her mother on the guest list, interpreting this as another sign that her social connections at that time favored more recently formed, strategically advantageous relationships. A widely disseminated photograph from the wedding celebration is often referenced as representative. It purportedly depicts Marcus Anderson in a joyful stance among 4 other Soho House executives, all raising glasses in evident exultation. For some formulating an alternate interpretation, the image appears less as informal celebration and more as visual validation of a group that has guided and accomplished a significant goal. The wedding in this narrative is not simply a personal milestone, but the public finale of a successful operation. Integral to the network and money aspects of the account is arguably its most delicate and possibly impactful element, the purported involvement of Prince William through recorded voicemails directed to his brother. The brothers' extensively recorded alienation and intermittent public disputes have received considerable attention. The alternate story reinterprets elements of that tension based on alleged private correspondences. The idea posits that in November 2017, just prior to the public announcement of Prince Harry's engagement, Prince William left many voicemails for Harry with urgent warnings derived from intelligence gathered by palace security. At that time, the idea posits that Harry either disregarded or eliminated the communications, possibly perceiving them as fraternal admonitions or intrusions. In the following re-evaluation, the archived messages are purported to have been examined and to contain unambiguous warnings that, if they exist as stated, would have represented actionable intelligence. The content of the purported voicemails, as detailed in the alternate narrative, encompasses numerous principal assertions. Initially, William allegedly conveyed to Harry that Meghan had long been associated with the Soho House milieu, implying that her connection to elite social circles was neither novel nor coincidental. Secondly, he allegedly identified Marcus Anderson and warned that Anderson's reputation in some circles as an individual who positions women with powerful men was well recognized. Third, William purportedly communicated results from a background investigation indicating that Markle had participated in charity galas, polo matches, and other events associated with Harry's social circle as early as 2013 and 2014, suggesting her presence in close proximity prior to the public acknowledgement of their relationship. The tone of the communications is characterized as urgent and imploring, rather than condemnatory, urging Harry to meticulously examine the circumstances prior to making an irrevocable decision. It is essential to reiterate that these assertions regarding voicemails are posited within the framework of an alternative narrative, and in the original story are characterized as allegations arising from an investigative process, rather than substantiated facts corroborated by open sources. However, if the voicemail content were precisely depicted, the ramifications for intra-royal relations would be substantial. In this interpretation, Prince William's actions would be recontextualized from manifestations of elitism or envy to endeavors aimed at safeguarding his brother, informed by intelligence gathered by palace security. Harry's alleged disregard for the warnings would be regarded as a crucial personal decision, one where emotional allegiance superseded institutional advice, ultimately precipitating the ensuing estrangement between the brothers and the wider institutional turmoil that ensued. The aspects of the alternative narrative, when synthesized, interconnect to create a coherent, albeit disputed plot. Instead of a singular, fortuitous blind date leading to a contemporary fairy tale, the reassessment suggests a multi-year process of positioning, sponsorship, and networked facilitation. This framework posits that Markle's assimilation into the Soho House environment provided her with the sophistication and connections essential for accessing elite social spheres. Anderson, due to his institutional position and alleged mentorship, functioned as a strategist who orchestrated opportunities and enabled introductions. Financial support potentially manifesting as complimentary membership and other indirect subsidies underpinned a heightened lifestyle and maintained public visibility. and a network of allies convened on the wedding day to signify the culmination of a collaborative effort. In this narrative, Prince Harry becomes, whether deliberately or inadvertently, the target of a campaign orchestrated within a specific social ecology. The alternative story emphasizes his role within the monarchy, his status, riches platform, and relative isolation as factors that rendered him a particularly high-value target for societal alignment. Advocates contend that Harry had openly expressed a wish for a partner adept at managing the demands of royal existence. The hypothesis posits that this desire coincided with the strategic efforts of a network skilled in crafting and overseeing public personas, resulting in an intersection where individual preference and systematic positioning converged. The reevaluation provides a markedly distinct perspective on one of the most examined relationships of recent years. This alternative approach prioritizes strategy, logistics, and coordination, in contrast to popular narratives that highlight romantic chemistry and serendipity. It perceives coincidental proximities as intentional overlaps, serendipitous introductions as calculated placements, and financial irregularities as indications of strategic support. It is essential to recognize, as the advocates frequently admit, that much of the case is circumstantial and interpretive rather than definitively established. Photographs, guest lists, and documented friendships may indicate patterns without conclusively determining purpose. Alleged voicemails and purported sponsorship agreements, absent corroboration from source material or direct evidence, exist in a realm of plausible speculation. Additionally, there are numerous other explanations proposed by skeptics of this theory, explanations that warrant evaluation when assessing the validity of the assertion. The elite social circles in question are inherently confined, comprising a very small population of affluent and culturally significant individuals who frequently frequent a select number of venues and events throughout many locations. Consequently, overlap in images, attendance lists, and friendships may stem from authentic friendliness rather than from deliberate arrangement. Secondly, persons in the entertainment sector often cultivate intimate relationships with those in hospitality and culture, as these professionals are among the few capable of facilitating an open and accessible entree into exclusive social networks. The closeness does not necessarily indicate a deliberate approach aimed at any specific individual. Third, prominent public figures frequently obtain complimentary services, transportation, fashion, styling, hospitality, due to brands and venues perceiving their presence as valuable. These arrangements can be reciprocal and mutually beneficial, without constituting covert sponsorship for strategic life objectives. An additional layer of caution pertains to the interpretative utilization of images and visitor lists. Visual evidence is persuasive for narrative development. Nevertheless, images encapsulate a singular moment and lack context, since seating arrangements, group photographs, and social gestures might be interpreted in various manners. Likewise, tracing the origins of relationships through the cross-referencing of membership rosters and event participation can reveal networks. However, it does not intrinsically indicate intent or directionality, specifically who recruited whom and for what purpose. To advance the alternative narrative beyond mere circumstantiality, the most compelling proof would consist of contemporaneous internal emails, contracts, and financial records indicating complementary memberships linked to identified approvals or direct testimony from participants affirming orchestration. In the absence of such materials, the story remains a reasoned guess rather than an established chronology. A further challenge to the idea pertains to motive and compensation. For an alleged campaign to be significant, the participants who dedicated time, attention, reputation, and potentially financial resources would necessitate some type of anticipated return. Advocates propose several potential benefits: increased prestige for Soho House through its relationship with royalty, profitable commercial ties, facilitated by proximity to the royal couple, or the fulfillment of having integrated a member into the uppermost tier of social life. Skeptics doubt whether these gains would reasonably warrant prolonged, focused effort over the years, especially considering the reputational hazards linked to interfering in the private relationships of prominent leaders. Furthermore, the expenses, both monetary and reputational, associated with assisting an individual until she establishes a relationship with royalty would, according to this reasoning, be considerable and unpredictable in their eventual realization. Nonetheless, the durability and precision of the alternative story have maintained popular intrigue because they provide a coherent explanatory framework for a series of occurrences that in conventional narratives may seem sudden or implausible. The hypothesis presents a covert framework of influence that elucidates Meghan Markle's swift social rise, the timing and circumstances of her introduction to Prince Harry, and the social environment that surrounded her at the altar. It reinterprets intra-family conflicts not solely as personal disagreements, but as institutional alerts triggered by perceived manipulation. The re-examination, beyond its immediate inquiries into origins and motive, highlights broader concerns like social mobility among contemporary elites, the commodification of intimacy, and the role of institutions in facilitating access to power. Soho House serves as a pertinent case study due to its explicit branding as a social capital incubator and its model membership as a means to influence being emulated across many lifestyle firms. The alternative story encourages readers to contemplate how private clubs, curated networks, and professional facilitators might function as catalysts for visibility, particularly for persons pursuing transnational jobs where social presence can convert into professional prospects. It also incites contemplation on ethical boundaries. Where does mentorship conclude and manipulation commence? At what point does hospitality transition into sponsorship, and what responsibilities arise from acknowledging that one's social engineering might significantly impact the lives of others? In conclusion, this reevaluation does not only substitute one narrative for another, instead, it prompts a reassessment of the functioning of elite social infrastructures and the integration of personal ties into extensive networks of influence. The analysis highlights how private clubs, curated networks, and strategic sponsorships can enhance public visibility and facilitate access to elite social and cultural spheres, regardless of whether the claim of a meticulously executed social campaign is substantiated by rigorous evidence. The alternative story compels readers to differentiate between coincidence and design, to examine the function of intermediaries who traverse hidden corridors of power, and to assess how institutions and individuals converge in crafting the biographies that captivate public interest. Although conclusive evidence may be unattainable, the intricate consistency of this narrative guarantees its status as a captivating reinterpretation of the saga involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, perpetuating discourse and demands for a more rigorous examination of the dynamics of advancement within elite social structures. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for the time being.